impact on the life of the people. The country is still borrowing aggressively, much more than before in our history. So if you put all these pictures together, they're not pretty. The pretty thing for the president to do is to do what? Begin campaigning well ahead of time. I said it on many other studios. The government panicked, especially because the signals coming from the north were not pretty good signals. The idea for the president is that if we paralyze, pulverize, and neutralize the political south as the only standing force, then he can levy political war on the north. But if you have a President Jonathan P2B coming on board to dismember the South and break that unity into pieces by isolating the president and his team to the Milocon section of the South, that means the Southwest, liberating the Southeast and the South for the other two, or one of them. It means the North will now settle the score for two certain brothers in a very, very strong, robust political context.
So guys, Prof Udenta has called out Bashir Ahmed over what he said on his Twitter account. I'm going to be reading it for you guys, so you guys will listen to what he said. He said, wow, it is important to point out that out of the 12 chairmen who have led the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, since its inspection, 10 have come from the south, while only 2 have come from the north. This stark imbalance should raise questions about equitable representation in one of Nigeria's most critical democratic institutions. And as a result of what he said, he went on to list the names of INEC chairmen who have been in INEC office since 1964. Imagine, he started from 1964. And Prof Udenta, didn't like the aspect of what he said, and he came out, to drag Bashir Ahmed. I'll allow you guys to watch this video and listen to what Prof Udenta said about Bashir Ahmed. And please, if you're coming across my channel for the first time, do well to hit the subscribe button and drop your comments in the comment section below. So guys, watch this video and I'll be right back.
Right, let's start on this note. Just 24 hours ago, the national chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission had a lot to say about 2027. More so about what political parties and political figures have been doing in respect to the 2027 conversation. He says all of these developments, all of these talks about 2027 is not helping our electoral process. It's not helping our democracy because politicians, political figures, political parties are not playing by the rules. There should be no campaigning up until 150 days before the elections. What are your thoughts about his comments and the concern that political talk is pretty much inundating the polity? Okay, now I will pursue this line of thought from two distinct perspectives. We live in a rules-based society. That's why we have rule of law and not rule of men and women. So I know what the law says, whether the law is right or wrong. Somehow you respect it until we change the law. The way and manner we separate politics from governance in Nigeria is mechanical. They're interwoven at every point in time. The system is a presidential system. We borrowed this thing from somewhere. It's not organic. It's not part of the autochthonous community's sense of civilizational evolution to say this is where we are in terms of our democracy. We took it from the Americans. From the day you're sworn in, Trump or Biden, he started campaigning for the next election. For the midterm, it's perpetual campaign. It doesn't mean that when they're campaigning, there shouldn't be governance, policy implementation, policy enunciation, debate over policies. But here, because we have a set of rules and regulations, this is the day you start this one, you do the primary election, you leave the ban on campaigning, we do whatever we can to respect that until it is changed, to ensure that every day, every minute, the domain or site of politics is full of contestation. You cannot bridge it and hold it back and say, wait until some certain days or weeks or months before you start. That doesn't happen. But the second angle to it, the second perspective is that the chairman of INEC should be courageous enough to call a spade a spade. He should look at the president of the country, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and say, Mr. President, you erred with your team, with the presidency, with your party. You jumped the gun, and others followed. They were doing a slate of mobilization and endorsement across the north. There was one in the northwest, none in the north central, not one in the northeast, where even the name of the VP was taken away from the list of those to be endorsed openly in the glare of the public. There was even an endorsement inside the villa. When the president, who ought to man the space of governance and obey the law with his team,
let the cat out of the bag, jump the gun, because he panicked in a way. The rest of the political class will not fold their arms. They will join the fray. So INEC may have to bring other facts by cautioning the president of the country, the presidency, his party APC, to give this piece a chance in terms of politicking and focus on governance. If you don't focus on governance and policy implementation, politicians are bound to seize the moment and seize the day.
So you're saying it's fair game at this point?
That he has made it a fair game. Because you see, if you have a calculus that you want to prepare for 2027 for leisurely re-entry, that means emasculate the political class, dismember the existing political parties, ruin the infrastructure of liberal democratic governance, and then repress multi-party democracy. It makes it easy for you to re-enter 2027. That's what they're doing. Politicians on the other side must resist it. Must say PDP must be reborn, rebetted, regenerated. ADC must find its footing and bearing in order to survive. Labour Party have to find its own direction here and there. The moment they start doing that, the system, of course, will be heated up. The heating up didn't start from the opposition ranks. It started from the ranks of APC, the president of the country, and the presidency.
What about the cost on the polity, on governance? Because the trade-off is that the administration becomes too distracted that governance suffers.
Deliberately, the administration distracted itself on two scores. When they have very little to offer, you find something else to distract the people. In terms of policy implementation, policy enunciation, this government came with two broad macroeconomic strokes. Subsidy is gone on day one. Weeks later, Naira floated. These shocks have not abated. It has led to incremental growth of multidimensional poverty. It has led to depreciated living standard of the people. It has ruined so many homes. It has rendered people pauperized. It has even increased insecurity. The moment you know that these policies, which are neoliberal policies, forced upon us from outside, are not working, you must find a way to breathe easy. That is campaigning, going toward 2027. That's why I said that the presidential team panicked in the sense that the policies are not working. As many of these policies have been thrown all over the place, but they're not sticking well. If you ask around their four key domains or sites of life: security, apparatus or infrastructure or architecture, how far is it? Northeast, north central, northwest, southeast. How is it going? Not well at all. Welfare of the people, prosperity of the people, transportation, education cost, and so on, living standard, cost of food, staple food, and so on. Not pretty picture. Health-wise, not pretty picture. So ultimately, what you have to do is to shift the campaign, the debate, away from policies that have failed or failing into focus.
You think the verdict is out already on the Tinubu reform?
There's nothing this government can do to change to 2027, because ultimately by 2026, second quarter, if I'm not mistaken, the primaries of all the parties will take place. The candidates who will face off against him will emerge. Campaign will start whether INEC likes it or not. That's what's going to happen. He needed 2 years, solid 2 years, to avoid politics and govern. He didn't get the 2 years because he decided to throw this 2027 transitional politics into the ring, and politicians accepted it with glee. So the blame should clearly focus on the government of the day that should have been consistent with bringing up pro-people policies and programs that will uplift the living standard of the people, attenuate poverty, lead to incremental growth of national prosperity, capacity, building in terms of our industrial production, Naira strengthening. Again, most crucially, the removal of subsidy with all the billions now released. What's the impact on the life of the people? The country is still borrowing aggressively, much more than before in our history. So if you put all these pictures together, they're not pretty. The pretty thing for the president to do is to do what? Begin campaigning well ahead of time. I said it on many other studios. The government panicked, especially because the signals coming from the north were not pretty good signals. The idea for the president is that if we paralyze, pulverize, and neutralize the political south as the only standing force, then he can levy political war on the north. But if you have a President Jonathan or Peter B coming on board to dismember the South and break that unity into pieces by isolating the president and his team to the Milokun section of the South, that means the Southwest, liberating the Southeast and the South for the other two, or one of them. It means the North will now settle the score for two certain brothers in a very, very strong, robust political context. Because of that reason, he needed to re-engineer the North. The first part of re-engineering was really sure the vice president. I will stop at that. If they've had their way and less noise was made, possibly Shetima of the Northeast could have been sacrificed for somebody of the Northwest. Now he's shifting from the Kanuri corridor. They then claim the corridor has only two potent states, Borno and Yobe, to the Fulani corridor, which has a lot more states. Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Katsina, okay, right down to Jigawa, Kano, etc.
Is that your guesstimate?
The point is that politics is a game of number.
Right.
At the end of the day, what is concealed in the dark will be revealed in the day. The president is going to be renominated by his party, and he's going to choose a running mate. It's either he retains the vice president or he shifts the ground.
If he won with Shetima, albeit a close call, why do you think he would want to change the winning formula?
It wasn't even a close call. I said it was like a disastrous victory, if we can use such a term. When he scored 37% over 100, that's not a close call. The other party is lost. He didn't win. If you combine the votes of PDP and Labour,
elections are zero sum, aren't they?
That's 63% of the vote. That's almost a compact majority. That's a minority president, a minority victory. So he actually lost in terms of the number, in terms of the arithmetic of it. And that is because he was not even known. Check history. Obama did very well in 2008 because see, yes, we can. The fire, the spirit of audacity, that charisma carried him through. 2012, he did very poorly because they've seen him for 4 years and said, he's a regular politician like the rest of them. But he came. Mr. Stop corruption, stop indiscipline. So secondly was much more difficult. Jonathan, even former President Jonathan, shoeless, breath of fresh air, not a typical politician. He did it. Second time, he conceded. So this president will not do as well in 2027 as he did in 2023. Something rubs off you. A safety achievement is spectacularly exaggerated or extravagant.
And you don't think Tinubu would survive a referendum in 2027?
He can see that 27 will be a referendum on his own governance. It will be a promise of a better tomorrow. He just said, for 4 years, he gave it to me. I removed subsidy, life is better for you. I floated in Naira, everything is fine. Education is good, transportation is nice. The money I've given to the workers is solving their problems. These things can be said because people say, hello, this is alternate universe or alternate truth. We know the reality of the day. People are hurting. How do you think man who never only won 2023 will win 2027 when he has nothing to run on?
Right, let's talk about that political map that you talked about. The South, for instance. The talk of former President Goodluck Jonathan coming back into the arena. Peter Obi already, Nigerians get the feeling that he is going to be in the race, right? Talk to me about how some say we're witnessing a remaking of the political map, especially in the southern part of the country. The APC has made some inroads there, albeit through defections of some governors in the southeast and now in the south-south. And they are concerned that some of them will actually still join the APC before the end of the year. What are your theories about what's happening in the southern part of the country about 2027?
Now, quickly, before I dive into this matter, 2023, a certain B2P took the brand of a very small party, typically unknown, called Labour Party. No infrastructure. I don't used to use the corrupt term structure. No infrastructure mean deeply embedded apparatus that can mobilize people for you, protect your vote, what they call mandate protection, canvas for you, interlinkages, networking ability and so on. And then political godfathers and godmothers and god uncles and cousins there to work for you. He smashed through the entire Southeast. He beat everybody. None of the other candidates scored 25%. Maybe in one state, I don't know. South, he did extraordinarily very well. That means capturing governors or senators or getting them to defect will not solve your problem. Because this is not organic. You are picking them from the top, but the mass base is still intact. Raring to go, bitter, angry, disenchanted and discontented. If you add the Jonathan mix, that's a phenomenon. 11 years ago, late Senator Ifeanyi bettered or founded.
So guys, I'm sure you guys have listened to this video, and also please, if you're coming across my channel, do well to hit the subscribe button, like and share this video, and drop your comments in the comment section below. So guys, thanks for watching, and see you guys again in my next video.